Hey everyone, and welcome to Dollar Beer Night, Episode 6. This episode is dedicated entirely to red wine and rom-coms. So let's get started.
We could take it slow. Nobody in the world has got to know. Let me take you out, maybe a coffee or dancing or dinner. I'm asking you to give it a go before you shut it down. We could waste this town.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Dollar Beer Night, Episode 6. This episode is titled Red Wine and Rom-Coms. And tonight we are drinking Beringer red wine. It's Red Moscato. And it's out of our comfort zone. It's $5 wine I got from Kroger. So with me,
750 plus awards.
they've won a lot of awards.
Someone would call this show $5 wine night. I don't know.
It could be
$5
Dollar Beer Night. $5 wine night is what we prefer.
Yeah.
Well, there's 4 of us, and it costs $5, so it's technically $1.25 wine.
Hey,
Yeah,
Ooh,
good
baby.
call. Good call. Still $1.
Still a dollar.
Not really.
Dollar with a tip.
you round down.
That's
You round
not
down.
how
Yeah.
math works.
If it's less than 50, you round down.
Right.
So with me to my right is Thomas Becerra.
What's up, bub?
What's up? What you been doing?
Nothing much. Sorry I missed you guys on the Sonic episode.
It's
That's
okay.
okay.
We put a post mortem at the very beginning. I don't know if I can say that right.
But I'm here. Been going through some changes, but things have been good.
Good.
Well, we're glad to have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed you.
So I'm gonna have a lot of downtime. School's out for summer. Summer came early,
Yeah.
as some would
exciting.
say.
Some would
So
say
I'm ready
so.
to crack those Coronas open.
Crack those Corollas. Let's
Them Corollas. Yeah, I'm gonna
Could do
crack
that.
that 4-door sedan.
do that.
crack them Corollas.
Yeah, since
Yeah.
the last time you were on, since the last time we had all 4 of us together, Tough Luck launched officially.
Tough Luck
right?
launched.
So
yeah,
how'd it
and a
go?
lot of people bought sticker packs. I think we only have like 10 left out of 40.
That's dope, dude.
Or 50.
Fuck yeah.
So-
They're awesome too. If you guys haven't bought one yet and you still
Yeah.
want to grab one,
They're
where can
cool,
they
man. They can go to toughluck.co. I don't know what the website's called.
.company.
Company.
Toughluck.co is a domain that doesn't exist. It's
Yeah.
toughluck.company.
Toughluck.company. I always just hit the link in the Instagram.
Right.
Well,
to
I
go
always
to the
thought that .co was .company, so I
thought
don't know
it- I don't
why.
know.
It's weird.
Yeah,
But yeah, follow us on Instagram, toughluck.co or toughluck.co.
It's Tough Luck Co.
Co. You know more about my
I
brand
know.
than I do.
Tough Luck Co. And toughluck.company is the URL.
Yeah, cool. I've had a couple glasses of wine.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the guy that missed out on the first edition, like the first thing that came out from Tough Luck.
Yeah, I mean, our first thing's in there.
You'd be
Yeah.
such a loser.
Yeah, it comes with a fresh set of dice. Some got the marbled dice. Some got die.
Dice? I don't know.
I think when there's 2 of them, you can say dice.
Dice, and then one is die.
One is die.
It's a set of dice. Dice is singular.
Set of
Die
dice.
is plural.
Okay. Die. So it comes with a cool set of die. Dice?
It comes with a cool set of dice because it's one set.
This banner's getting off the rails. Okay. I got 2 more things to say. I've been shiny hunting Mewtwo and been watching a lot of rom-coms and Drawception. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That's it. All right. Who's next?
Tommy's the host this week. He just hijacked it.
So if you caught all that, you've been shiny hunting, doing research for rom-coms. Shiny hunting.
Dylan says shiny hunting like he's like trying to discover a fossil. You know what I mean? He's like, so tell me, son, you've been shiny hunting? What is shiny hunting?
It's like when I told my mom about it.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, son, have you been careful?
Yes, I'll be careful.
Okay.
Have you been sanitizing your Switch?
Yeah. Oh, I did. I did wipe it down pretty
Are
nice.
Nice. Good job.
Keeping social distancing?
Yeah, social
Okay.
distancing.
So
going on.
shiny hunting, rom-coms for research, and
Drawception.
drawception. So Kev, I'm sure you've been drawceptioning too.
Not as much.
What?
I've been going through things where, like, phases where I'll play like 40 games in a day, and then I'll let those go through. I'll get my high from getting the notifications, and then I'll stop playing for a little bit. But yeah, other than that, just trying to figure out what to do with our downtime here.
Yeah.
Stores closed for this foreseeable future, so yeah, I'm probably going to be playing a lot of video games, watching some stuff I've been meaning to watch. So downloaded a fan service-y Japanese game called Metal Max Xeno. It's the most Japanese.
Oh yeah, I saw that you were playing this.
It's
on
the
PlayStation.
strangest
I saw
shit
it.
I've ever seen, but it's awesome. It's so much fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can it's a game where it's the end of the world. You can drive around in tanks that you find in the world, and you kill like metal monsters. It's very straightforward, but it's very very fan servicey. If you catch my drift. the pictures for some of the trophies are just big old anime titties.
Oh, hell yeah. Where can I buy this?
It's on the PlayStation Store for like $15.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's actually a lot of fun. It was never like localized, so it's still. I mean, there's the subtitles in English, but then there was never like a localized voice acting, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Scoff.
Whatever, I yelled at Dillon earlier because he said in his last episode with Jeremy that he hates watching things with subtitles, but he literally watches everything he watches with subtitles on. So I had to call him out on his hypocrisy.
I live a lie.
Hypocrisy.
You got to watch that Parasite there, Dill.
I know that's what the conversation was mainly about.
There's a good chance an episode coming up will feature some anime.
Boom.
You guys are gonna have
Okay,
to watch.
good.
Seems like a solid
During
choice.
the
Make me dive in.
the Corolla season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this. I think hashtag Corolla epidemic. 2020.
Corolla
Yeah.
epidemic. All these fucking sedans.
So
man.
many sedans.
I can't get
lining-
anywhere.
What are the odds that all the Corollas break down on the same day?
Yeah, on the same
Well,
fucking
hey,
day.
there is an anime about street racing, and I'm sure there's like a Corolla sport in there
Oh,
somewhere.
hell yeah.
Yeah. So Zach, what have you been up to, Zach?
Oh, not much. Hey, I'm Zach Rotello, at Zach Rotello on Twitter and all the social medias. You can follow me around the world. I have been up to, like Kevin said, we've been trying to stay true to our social distancing. So I've been trying to come up with a strategy of what I want to do during this unprecedented time. Thing number A, obviously we're here doing the podcast. Hopefully we get many more chances to do this. There's rumors of an episode with our dear friend Alex Sullivan where he's going to be running us through
Shout
a
out.
D&D campaign, or like a whatever you call them, an offshoot.
It's a
One
one-off.
shot.
A one shot.
Oh, one
right.
shot?
And so maybe that will take place sometime here in the near future. We'll get some characters, have a couple beers, have some fun with a D&D podcast. I think that could be really good for a mini episode.
Yeah.
I've also been trying to take a stock of the things that I haven't gotten through yet, whether they be video games, movies, television. I want to try and use this downtime, at least time that I'm not doing like trying to work on something productive. Actually, if I'm watching TV or if I'm playing a video game, I want to try and only do things new. Mm-hmm. That's my commitment for this coronavirus 2020 is I want to do new stuff. I want to watch movies I've not seen. I want to watch television I've not seen. I want to play games that I've never played before. And I don't want to fall into the trap of, not that there's anything wrong with going back and binge watching a TV show you've already watched before, but I personally want to use this time to maybe get into some new stuff, come out of this having like experienced some new things. And so that's I'm really excited.
Watch Spencer Confidential.
Okay.
It's a Marky Mark movie. It's fucking dope.
Okay. Well, I'm expecting, sticky notes of lists from each of you guys of things to get through. I mentioned to Kev that I wanted to do possibly. Dillon and I have been briefly today. We threw back and forth an idea of doing an offshoot podcast, a $1 Beer Night, where we just talk about series or movies. And it's not going to be as full production as this. It might be like one-off 30, 45-minute episodes. But say Dillon wants to rewatch a favorite show of his, maybe like a Riverdale, and I've never seen it. So we'll watch through it together and do like little recap and review shows, and then like have that in its own separate podcast feed for you
That'd be
guys
cool.
to check out.
Yeah.
Something that we can do, we can Skype from each other at home because, let's be real, travel's going to be difficult for all of us in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Corolla ain't working.
Yeah.
Had to walk here.
Yeah, I just filled up my tank, and I don't plan on using that until I have to go back to work. So
Really, for sure. Yeah. Especially since the gas is $1.84 right now.
I got it for $1.60 right up the street here.
No shit,
Yep.
really? Fuck. I got a gas at the wrong station. The other thing, too, is while I am Corolla unemployed right now, I'm going to be using this time to stream video games. So you can go to twitch.tv/Zach Rotello to watch me stream video games. In fact, tonight, depending on what time I get back, I'll be running through a stream of a game that I can't remember the name of to get my 16th Platinum Trophy.
Nice.
And so you can watch me stream video games at Twitch, Zach Rotello, and then also whenever I'm twitching and no one is using the $1 Beer Night show, Twitch, you can also go to twitch.tv/$1 Beer Night because my streams will be uploaded to there. Same with you guys if you ever stream video games.
Cool.
I've routed it so that if you're streaming and no one else is, it'll go straight to the $1 Beer Night page. So if you're in the mood to watch some video games and hang out with us, I've got my webcam set up. I set up my desk last night with like, I got my little flamingo light. I've got my, my coffee cups and everything, and all my stream TV and my
Nice.
webcam. So I'm getting ready to do some streaming.
Don't we know a couple other guys that stream too?
Yeah, for sure.
We do.
We'd like to give a. Sorry, I'm talking a bunch right now.
No, you're fine.
But,
That's great.
Give a shout out to Jacob Cleary. Sorry, I'm gonna always pronounce Jacob Clearly. You got such a great name for like an eyeglass prescription. You know what I mean? See clearly with Jacob Clearly. No, it's Jacob Cleary. You can go to Clearly Jacob 18 streams on Twitter. He does video game streams, a lot of Overwatch. Right now, he's playing Golf with Your Friends on YouTube. But he was really nice to shout us out on his show. He's a friend of one of our good friends, Mason Miller. And from the stuff that I've watched, he's got some really good content, some pretty engaging stuff. A lot of Rocket League, too. Like
They're great at Rocket
League.
Like,
So.
I was watching them play Rocket League the other day, and they're all really, really good. So they play it a lot. So yeah, it's fun to watch somebody so much better than me at a game that I was very bad at when I first started playing.
That game gives me anxiety. I don't know how people are good at it.
Just practice,
Yeah.
man. Got to get your 10,000 hours in.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But Jacob is he's live right now playing Golf with Your Friends, so he won't be live probably when this posts, but check him out. He's usually pretty consistent about when he goes live. So follow him on Twitter, follow him on YouTube, click the notifications thing so that you never miss when one of his streams pops up. And thank you again, Jacob, for all the kind words on Dollar Beer Night.
Thank you for your support, Jacob.
Hey, Dylan, who are you?
Hey, the Fonz. What's up? I'm Dylan. I'm the host this evening, and I've been up to about the same stuff I'm usually up to, watching a lot of shows and doing some rewatch and stuff. So
It's great.
the opposite of what Zach's doing, like watching new content, I'm kind of circling back to stuff I haven't watched in a few years, and it's been a lot of fun. I've got some stuff in the works with some friends, with Zach, and I've got another buddy, and we're going to do a rewatch of some horror stuff. So I don't know how that's going to be released. It might be Queen City, but we'll let you guys know. So that's really all I got going on. Let's start with our first reactions to wine, because none of us are real wine guys. Since
I'm a
we're
wine
doing,
guy.
You're a wine guy?
Well, I worked at an Italian restaurant for
Oh, you got paired
about
wine
3 or
with
4
pizza?
years. Well, yeah, so pizza, pasta, antipasti, all that stuff. So we got trained. I worked at I call it a semi-fancy Italian restaurant in Cincinnati, and part of the whole server gig there was that you had to take a monthly or semi-monthly wine and food test. And so they had like a sommelier that was a friend of the owners come in and give us like instructional classes about once a month over what the wines were that we had in stock, what we were tasting for, what we might be able to suggest to people. So I don't remember all of that information, but a lot of it I did like keep in the back of my memory cortex here. So I wouldn't say wine is definitely not my first choice when it comes to alcohol, but it's something I've learned to appreciate as I've gotten older.
So first thoughts of the $5 Beringer wine?
Dude, I normally don't like sweet wines, but I think this has enough of a deep flavor that I'm actually enjoying it. Like,
Yeah, it's a little bitter.
Yeah, well, just a little bit. That's the thing is that like I want my wines, especially reds, to be like hit me right out the gate, like that strong mouthfeel, very bitter. I like that kind of stuff. Cabernets, Merlots, those are my favorites. But for a sweet wine, I'm actually enjoying this.
Yeah. Kev, what do you think?
I think it's fine. I don't have much to say about wine.
We talked last week. Wine tastes like when we bite into grapes and someone takes a vacuum and sucks it out.
Sucks all the moisture out of your mouth immediately. But this doesn't do that to me. It's not super dry or anything like that. It's good. I like sweet coffee, so a sweet wine works fine for me. So,
Tom?
You ever see that skit with Steve Brule? Like, sweet bear wine.
Sweet bear wine.
That's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Not there yet.
It's better than the Chardonnay you were drinking earlier?
Yeah, it's way better. And I like getting wine drunk. It's a different feel, man. It's cool.
Wine drunk is lit.
It's so fun.
And especially if you have like a big meal, cook a big meal, get some turkey, get like some ham, then you have a bunch of wine, and then you suddenly feel like the jolly ghost in Christmas Story.
Yes. Dude,
come in and know me better, man.
Yeah,
Kevin,
exactly.
I was drinking wine the first time we played Overwatch, right? And that's when I fell asleep.
I think so, yeah.
That was like...
Dude, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Tommy
Just
texts me at like 2 o'clock in the morning. He's like, hey, dude, let's play Overwatch. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I'm still awake.
I've been drinking
An
wine.
hour in, Tommy falls asleep on my I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Like, I'm just going to drink... I was like drinking whiskey sours, and I switched to wine.
Yep.
I just blacked out.
It was great.
Tasting notes here on the back of the Berliner bottle. It's got semi-sweet is what it lists at the taste, so in between sweet and semi-dry. And notes, it has aromas of ripe, sun-kissed berries, followed by flavors of blackberry, cherry, and a hint of spice.
You can definitely taste all that.
Yep. Yeah,
I heard that's what Corollas taste like.
Yep.
hashtag Corona Challenge, or Corolla Challenge. Sorry, I forgot what they're calling it. Corolla.
What's a Corona?
I have no idea.
So let's get into it. First off, if you want to go to our Twitter, Dollar Beer Pod on Twitter, Dollar Beer Night on Insta. And if you have any questions, you can email us at dollarbeernightshow@gmail.com. You can also forward your comments or concerns there as well. Head to dollarbeernight.com and you can get a list of all our feeds. We're on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and most podcast services around the world. So, also, we got to get into the dollar mailbag.
Dollar mailbag. Tommy, you gave me the jingle the last time.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought Dylan did.
Oh,
I'll give it to you.
Somebody give me a jingle.
Do we need a jingle?
Yeah.
Dollar Beer Night, mailbag, mailbag, mailbag.
Very nice, very nice. Tonight on the Dollar Beer Night mailbag, we actually have 3 responses, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, boy.
We put up an Instagram post earlier this morning with just a simple question because we know tonight's episode is going to be a little bit different with the red wines and the rom-coms and what Dylan's got planned for us. But we put up Ask Us Anything, and we got a couple questions asking us basically anything. So let's start out first, right out the gate, with a response from our friend A.M_Sullivan on Instagram. He says, "What is your boy band assignments? Example, who is the cute one?"
Oh.
All right, so we got to be a boy band.
Okay.
Who's who in the boy band?
Tommy's the cute one.
Am I?
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys.
You're the
So bashful.
you're like the Justin Timberlake, where you're
Oh my God.
you're the cutest of the bunch, and then you go on to have a really successful film career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking you boys with me.
Oh, I appreciate it.
NSYNC riding it to the top, baby.
I gotta say it
do I
right out
have-
the gate. I think
should-
Kevin's the drummer.
Should I get Rob?
The drummer in a boy band?
Well, boy bands are usually. So I'm picturing like a One Direction. You know,
That, none of them drum.
I guess that none of them drum. Fuck, I don't know what I'm thinking.
I
of
don't
then.
know.
I'm the JC Chavez.
Did he give us any other?
Or like the AJ.
That's the only.
bad
Ex-
boy.
that's the only
Dylan
one.
Dylan is the taller buff guy in the group that always has his shirt open.
Yeah.
Dylan's the strong one.
with like frosted tips. Do you have frosted
Oh,
tips?
I love frosted tips.
I'm just the normal guy.
Yeah. You're the,
I'm,
No,
the,
you're
I'm the
not.
dad of the group.
No. I feel like you're like the AJ, like the bad boy.
you're the guy from
I'm the bad boy.
the bad boy.
the guy that
That's I like.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
you're the AJ. Oh, I'm so jealous. I wanted to be AJ. So
I was
bad.
thinking I'm Joey the Fatone.
Oh, Joey. Yeah.
Joey.
Good old Joey Fat one.
The
But
guy
Joey's
that-
not like a normal. Kevin's the well, no,
Right, I get it.
Lying to you, but Kevin's the normal.
His jaw's way too chiseled for me,
yeah.
dude.
Joey's
the one that interviews the Impractical Jokers now, right?
I don't know. I don't watch Impractical Jokers.
We watch way too much at work. Go ahead. What is there any other? So who are you, Zach?
I have no idea. That's why I was hoping you guys.
Oh,
could
yeah,
help
we
me
can
out
help him out.
because I have no idea who I would
know.
be in a boy band.
Zach is like the alternative. He's the one for like the e-girls.
Oh yeah.
Alt kid.
Yeah.
Zach's the alt kid.
I'm the one that was 14 and had a beard and with
yeah,
smoked black and milds and
the hairy one.
the hairy one. All right. I didn't know that was a boy band trope, but
It could be.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
In our boy
redefining.
band, it is.
Next up on the question docket, question from Barry Violence on Instagram. He says, "What is the best White Claw flavor?" This could turn into an entire series. You're welcome.
Shout out.
It
Grant.
really could.
Yeah, shout out to Grant Hutzel. White Claw flavor. I'm personally going to throw the hat in and say grapefruit. I know that that's unpopular.
No, it's okay.
Nah,
That's a good flavor.
fine. I think grapefruit is the best flavor overall for any like seltzer. Typically,
Yeah.
I agree.
alcoholic or non. But
Mango.
mine's blackberry.
Mango.
Blackberry?
Yeah, I love
blackberry's
a
good.
stronger like berry flavor and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like if I'm going to drink like a wine cooler type drink, I want it to taste like something.
Oh yeah,
So it'd have a little bit of a stronger taste. So yeah, that's why I like the blackberry or anything that's got like
that one's good.
red on the label.
I like the mango one, and I like
Mango's
the
good.
watermelon one.
Yeah.
I haven't tried watermelon yet. I haven't
See,
tried
I
any of the
wasn't
new
as huge a
flavors.
fan as the watermelon as
Really?
you hyped it up, and I was like really excited to try it. I actually like the lemon.
the lemon's
most
good.
of that pack.
Yeah.
Lemon's probably delicious.
Lemon was great. It
It's
was
really
very
refreshing.
refreshing. Yeah, it was. I was like, I can't wait to. I'll be drinking that lemon in the summer.
Yep.
Provided I'm still alive.
I wish
Yeah.
I had known Grant was going to be it because I would have texted him like, "Hey, dude, what's your favorite?" I could have shouted him out.
Oh yeah, right.
Text 'em.
All right, we're moving on.
Dylan, you got an answer for on the white?
I said mango.
Yeah,
Oh, you said mango.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mango's good. They're all good.
Mango is
Mango
my
everything.
mango is my
Mango,
first favorite.
Fruitista Freeze, mango anything. Except the actual fruit.
You don't like the actual
Don't like
fruit?
mangoes.
I just don't eat them.
They're good.
They're good. Yeah,
I'll get you a good one. I'll get you a good right.
Try a spicy mango.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
They're a little like what I don't know what they do in Mexico, but they have like
Yeah.
the spicy fruit or whatever. It's delicious.
Yes.
And our last question of the day is the most apt one. Comes from May_Mills on Instagram, our good friend Mason. He says, "You're stuck in self-quarantine. You only get one album, movie, and show to watch. Picks. So that's one album, one movie, and one show. So I'm assuming, while you guys think about this, I'm gonna assume Mason is saying, self-quarantine. So let's say a month.
Sure.
A month of self-quarantine. So you know that you're going to be coming out of it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like this is like the only stuff you can watch forever. But you've got a month in self-quarantine to watch one album, one movie, and one show.
Okay.
Anybody want to go first?
One shot.
Do we have to do it like all in
Let's-
one?
Let's all
one-
go albums and then work our way down the
and then
list.
show and then movie.
Lightning rounded, though. Let's
Okay.
do it.
Who wants to go first? Not me.
New girl for the show.
Okay,
New girl for the
New
show.
girl for the show.
Scrubs.
Since I've been trying to watch stuff that's new, I got to think of something that could also last me a month. This is a tricky one, man.
Lost.
No, I've already seen Lost. Fuck. I've heard good things about.
Game of Thrones.
No, I've already seen Game of Thrones. Fuck, I was just thinking about a TV show the other minute. I'll edit this Dead Space out.
They definitely shouldn't watch fucking The Outsider because
Yeah, dude, we didn't even talk about that. Not happy with how
dude.
that
The end was trash. No wonder Aaron closed that book so pissed.
Yeah, it was.
It
was
ended
super
exactly how she thought it would, and she was like, "God
bad. Yeah,
damn
The
it,
Outsider was pretty bad.
hot garbage."
The Wire. I'll go The Wire.
Yeah, Wire's
Because
great
I've not seen The Wire all the way through. I've only seen the first bit of the first season, and it didn't grab me right out the gate, but it's something that I've wanted to get through. So I'll go Wire for my TV show.
Kev?
My TV show, I would probably just pick another long anime I haven't watched, like a
There you go.
Naruto or something like that. I'd probably do Naruto. Or like, what is it? Not Yu Yu Hakusho. The guy with, he had the big old blade. He was like the cat dude, had the red suit. The fuck was the name of that? Anyway, I'd watch a long anime.
Yeah, I want to change my answer.
I mean, you know what I would do? I would watch. This is actually my true answer. I would watch the whole entire Dragon Ball series. I'd start from the original Dragon Ball through Dragon Ball Z through Dragon Ball Super. That's like 1,000 episodes.
Can I
At least
come?
1,000 episodes.
Can I come over? Is it like a? Do we have to be self-quarantined?
It's self-quarantine, dude.
Self-quarantine.
I want to go to Kevin's house.
So what's the next one? Album?
The next one, movie.
Okay, movie.
Or, well, we all did the television show. So the next one, it's either album or movie.
I don't know. You guys go first.
For the movie, I'm going to go Godfather. Because it's one that I've been thinking
It's a great
about
pick.
recently for some reason, and it's like, that's a long one. I would say either Godfather because I haven't seen it in a long time, or if I want to go something new, I still haven't watched The Irishman, and I've been meaning to watch that. So maybe that one, and that could take me a while.
Yeah,
So.
I would probably do There Will Be Blood or Gangs of New York. Something with my favorite actor of all time.
Sure.
So probably, actually, There Will Be Blood would probably be.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Good pick. Anybody else? Tommy, Dylan?
I would go Dumb and Dumber.
Yes, solid.
That's one I can watch
Solid.
all day, every
Solid.
day. If it wasn't Dumb and Dumber, it'd probably be Tommy Boy. Because for a month,
Yeah.
it's got to be on.
Right.
And anytime Dumb and Dumber's on, it doesn't matter. It's awesome. Tom?
I'm gonna do my favorite movie of all time.
Let's
you
do it.
sparked my my memory. Grind. It's a skateboard
Oh,
movie
yes.
from the early 2000s, and I could watch that all the time and never get sick of it.
So last one,
Rivers.
last one's album?
Yeah, last
So
one's
who wants to
album.
go first?
I'm going to go with the Tron Legacy soundtrack from
Oh, yes, dude.
Because
So good.
I was listening to Derez the other night
So good.
while I was cooking, and I was like, yeah, this album fucking slaps. And that movie is really, really good, too.
It is.
But yeah, that album is just awesome. And I've been into... No, we're living in the post-apocalypse now, so like that sort of apocalyptic synth wave is kind of like my jam right now. I'm just waiting to get a Jeff Bridges style.
Did you
robe.
see that in theaters?
I did.
It was great in theaters.
Yeah, fantastic.
Mine would be. I was going to do a Daft Punk album. That was between Alive and Discovery, but I think I would do the Jeff Buckley Grace album.
Oh wow!
To me, that is one of the best albums ever made, if not the best album ever made. It was the only real, true, full-length studio album Jeff Buckley ever made before he tragically died. And you could listen to that album today, and it would still sound like it was made yesterday. And that's, to me, is the classic sign of a great album is when you can turn it on anytime and it sounds like it was made in that current time. Jeff Buckley is a transcendent vocalist and a transcendent guitarist. If you haven't listened to the Jeff Buckley Grace album, please do. The Mojo Pin, that first song is legendary.
So I'm gonna listen to that on the way home.
It's great.
Am I allowed to listen to a stream, like lo-fi beats?
I'll accept it. I'm sure Mason would accept that as an answer.
I have an actual album though. The new Childish Gambino album. Anybody listen to it? Donald Glover Presents.
I have not.
No.
There's a new one?
He put it online and streamed it. Like just
What?
It was like you went to this website and like you just listened to the whole thing. There's a line. I want to get it right, but I could butcher it. Who cares? I think the song's called Vibrate and 21 Savage is in it. And I got so hyped when I heard this line in the song. 21 Savage says that he's eating Popeye's chicken on a private jet. And he's flexing like he's eating Popeye's spinach, and I fucking lost my mind. I forget how it goes. It's something cool. 21, and then 21 said like, "Oh God!" at the end. It was dope. But I want to.
I love it.
That's my album.
Mine is Story So Far is What You Don't See.
Nice.
It's kind of just run-of-the-mill pop punk, but it's one of those albums I listened to a million times when I was delivering Red Bull and 7-Up, so I know I can at least stand it for another month.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, being able to stand something in quarantine, like, I don't know. Those are good. I feel like I picked solid things that I would like, but also it's like now I'm running it through my head. If I could stand all that shit for a whole month.
Yeah, can you stand watching The Irishman for a month? What if you hated it?
I probably
That's
would.
3
Yeah,
hours.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, you got your show and your album. If your movie falls flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
This is the exact lyric, by the way. I'm on a private jet eating Popeye's chicken. I be flexing like I'm eating Popeye's spinach.
I think that was exactly what you said.
Oh, and then he goes 21, and then he goes 21, 21, 20.
Wow. Way to go, 21.
21.
That reminds me.
You stupid.
You ever watch the slam poetry scene from 22 Drum Street?
Yes.
That like lifts my spirits more than anything. So the snaps kind of remind me of that. Anyway,
Shout out to Mason, Grant,
Yeah, thank you.
and Alec for sending those topic
Yeah, thanks.
suggestions.
I was surprised Grant because I was talking to him about it the other day, and hopefully he listens to this one.
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, thanks guys. That was a fun little additive to our episode.
Yeah.
So let's
And-
get into rom-coms, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Tom. What you got?
I was just going to say real quick, if we went back to Alex's question and we had to group those boys as a boy band, Alec would be the cute one.
For sure.
That's all I want
Alec
to say.
is always the cute one.
He would be the guy holding the stereo over his head and say anything. I don't know if that's
yeah.
I just picture Alec doing that.
Alec would be like the shy, smart guy.
Yeah. He'd be John Cusack on your lawn.
Alec is the perfect anime main character.
He's an anime good boy.
Yeah. He's like the anime good boy. Like
I hated
he's
having
hot,
him
doesn't
around.
know he's hot.
I could see
Yeah,
that.
I hated having him around because I wanted to be the hottest redhead, but then he'd be around and
I know.
kind of ruin my vibe.
And then he doesn't know it, and it's like,
yeah, come on,
fucking
you
asshole.
know it. So let's get into rom-coms, eh? You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
We've been dancing around it all day. Let's just fucking do it. So I got this definition from Wikipedia, so I thought it's worth reading. I copy and pasted it. Romantic comedy is a subgenre of comedy and a slice of life fiction, focusing on lighthearted, humorous plot lines centered on romantic ideas, such as how true love is able to surmount most obstacles. One dictionary definition is a funny movie, play, or television program about a love story that ends happily. Another definition suggests that its primarily distinguishing feature is a love plot and two sympathetic and well-matched lovers and are united and reconciled. In a typical romantic comedy, the two lovers tend to be young, likable, and seemingly meant for each other, yet they are kept apart by some complicating circumstance, whether that's class difference, parental interference, a previous girlfriend or boyfriend, until surmounting all obstacles, they're finally reunited. A fairy tale style happy ending is a typical feature. So that's going to pretty much describe every movie we watch or our favorite ones. So I guess we can just start with our favorites and then we can kind of get into the honorable mentions. First things first, Tom, you're the only one that didn't put one on here, so I guess I'm going to start with you.
I'm
Tommy,
ready.
what is your favorite rom-com?
I'm torn between two of them.
Okay.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall
Yeah,
a good one.
and She's Out of My League. Those are
Okay.
like some of my favorite rom-coms. Do you want me to get into why, or
Sure.
are we just
Yeah, let's
are
do
we
it.
just spitballing what our
Yeah.
favorites are, and then we're gonna get into it? I think it's She's Out of My League. That's my favorite one out of those two. She's
Okay.
Out of My League. It's about this guy who wants to be a pilot, meets this girl through checkout. This guy, he just got broken up with by his girlfriend. He meets this girl at the airport. He's a TSA agent, and he's like, she forgets his phone. He goes and runs it to her. She's like super hot, out of his league, and
You're saying she.
Hence the title.
You're saying she's out of his league.
Yeah.
Okay.
out of his league, and things just spiral from there. And she's looking for a safe relationship. He seems like a safe guy, and they go through some romantic journeys together and some hardships. He comes his pants a couple times, and then they fall in love. It's great.
Who are the leads in that?
Fuck, man.
You
What's
said
his name?
Comes his pants.
He comes his pants in the movie. Yeah, that's a real scene. And then the dog licks the cum stain. It's hilarious.
Oh my!
I don't know if I've seen this one.
She's out of my league.
Whoa, that got really raunchy. And I did.
You can't listen to this at school. 2010 came out in 2010.
Yeah.
What's this guy's name? Jay
Baruchel.
Baruchel.
No way.
is
Jay
the- is
Baruchel's
the-
in this movie?
Yeah, he's the guy that's like, I want to be a pilot. I'm a TSA agent.
He's the one that sounds like he talks like this.
Yes.
He's got nasals for days.
And his name is Kirky in the movie. Kirky. Alice Eve plays the girl, the interest. Her name's Molly. And then TJ Miller, which is a fantastic comedian. I love him. His name is Stainer. There's a couple other people in there. What's her face? Lindsay Sloan is in that movie. From what's that Marvel shit that's on Netflix?
Shield.
No,
Is she in Daredevil?
Jessica
Jones.
Jessica Jones. The
She's,
girl, that
oh,
girl.
okay.
That girl that plays Jessica Jones. That's a good movie. It's a good movie.
I've never seen it.
You should watch it.
I've seen like
Nor
the
have
little.
I.
I've seen like the picture for it, but I've never seen.
Yeah, She's Out of My League. It's hilarious. It's really, really funny.
main girl?
So why does it sum up your why is it the rom-com for you?
I don't know.
What about the relationship makes it so strong?
It's I don't know if it's just like
Because I've heard cum pants and
it's
Ricky
just,
or whatever.
I think it's
his
just
name was.
Right.
I think it's just about a goofy guy that gets a hot chick, kind of like my life. So I really relate to it a little bit.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Dude, you're way hotter than Jay Baruchel.
No way, dude.
Yeah, you are.
Jay's a
100%.
good looking guy.
No, he's not.
No, he's
Jay
not.
Baruchel looks like
he could.
He looks like a
couldn't do
string
10
bean.
push-ups.
There's also a really funny scene in the movie where one of his best friends that's like really into Disney. That's fucking hilarious. Trims his pubes for him before a date with Molly. That's really funny. Yeah.
I
When
would
did this
never
movie
trust
come out?
any of you to trust
2010.
to trim mine.
2010.
No way.
So
I can't believe you guys haven't
10
seen it.
years ago.
No.
I don't
dude.
want to I don't want to talk about it too much. You guys haven't seen it, so
I,
I don't think I'm worried about spoilers for a
Yeah,
rom-com. I know what happens. The guy gets the girl.
wait, what happens?
Despite
They
all
fall in love.
Dylan literally just told us what
Yeah,
happens.
he just read the wiki page for every rom-com.
Yeah, that's Alice Eve. She's super cute. Did I spill my wine?
no, you're good. Yeah, she's cute.
She's from London. You sound like you're
yeah.
from London, which is from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Forgetting
yeah.
Sarah Marshall is a great one.
It's so good. I rewatched it the other night. So fun.
I almost quoted it earlier. Even just having Russell Brand in it
Yeah.
as like the side character, he was so funny.
I always forget he's in that movie.
And,
Mila Kunis is in that movie
Mila
too,
Kunis
right?
is-
Yeah.
she looks so
Baby
fun.
doll. Oh.
Jonah Hill's in it as like a.
He keeps passing his demo. to
He's
him.
like, I was going to listen to it, but I continued living my life. That is one of my. I still say that. I almost said it today earlier.
peels off the tape.
I was going to listen to your mixtape, but I just continued living the rest of my life.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall holds a very special place in my heart because I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
And the only time that I saw it was me and my friend Paul took a mega bus from Cincinnati to Chicago to go see a concert and stay in the city and just hang out for a weekend. And we were young. We were like, so this was, we were on a mega bus, so we were like probably 14 or 15. It was probably right before we could drive. And we brought a portable DVD player and we were like, all right, well, let's bring a bunch of movies that we haven't seen and watch a bunch of shit on this mega bus. And Forgetting Sarah Marshall was one of the movies that we wanted to watch. And I didn't know anything about the movie going in, and there's a gratuitous sex scene
oh yeah,
right in the beginning, right?
No,
If
it
I'm-
shows his dick. Yeah.
Well, he shows
when
his
he's
dick.
that
he shows
happened.
his dick at the beginning, but
that
then
happened to him in real life.
But then there's like a sex scene in the movie, right?
Is it the one where like he's banging Mila Kunis and she's like trying to be louder?
They're trying to
and
compete,
Then
yes.
Kristen Bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were listening to it on headphones, but even the volume of that was coming through the shitty headphones that we had. And like I remember like the people in the seat in front of us like turning around like making the gesture of like, can you please stop, put this porno away?
Like, when's the next stop at Lions Den?
Yeah.
That's such a funny scene too. Because what does Russell Brand say to her? He's like, "That's the worst performance I've ever seen in my life." It's like I've never seen
I've
somebody
always
fake an
heard of
orgasm.
people faking it, but
I've never
to
seen
see
it.
it in real life. Yeah, it's
But shout out to Jason Segel going full frontal nudity.
Oh yeah,
and exposing himself for like one of the more embarrassing things that can happen, and being completely nude and breaking up with someone.
And flaccid.
yeah, but doing
he's like, if I put clothes on, then we're actually breaking up.
put some clothes on. No, if I put clothes on, it's over.
Yeah, which happened to him?
Yeah,
You know the story.
yeah. It was a girl that played.
What's her name?
She was in Scooby Doo. She played Velma.
Yeah,
She was in
from Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
He got dumped naked by her. And then he wrote it into the movie.
take some balls and flaccid wiener.
Literally, yeah.
Isn't that just the most? I feel like.
And that guy made a
Forgive me
Muppet
for the
movie.
sentence I'm about to say, but I feel like if I was ever caught naked, I'd rather have a raging hard.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, not
I
at
would.
all.
I would not want to be compromised. That
What about
way. I feel
what
like I would
about
just-
post? What is it called? Post-coital.
Post-coital.
Post-coital. That's always a good look.
like the photos of Justin Bieber,
Yeah.
where it's like, all right,
You're not that
you
big.
obviously just did it
Yeah, you
with
fucking
some
liar.
model,
And then you're gonna send your dick to the internet. Come on.
get real, get real,
Be
Biebs.
better, Justin. Be better.
He looks weird now that he's grown up, by the
Yeah,
way.
I hate the
I hate
neck
it.
tat.
He looks
like
terrible.
He looks like he does drugs.
Well, he probably does.
He's
said,
a,
"I have
he's a
Lyme
shameless
disease."
character, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We derailed a little bit. Kev, what's your favorite rom-com?
So this is a movie I grew up with. This could have been a movie that I took with me to my self-quarantine. Princess Bride. Easily one of my favorite movies of all time, not just rom-coms, but like I said, I watched this constantly growing up. Those characters were like they were friends for me when I was growing up. You know what I mean? It's a classic love story. It's like a fairy tale love story. Pretty farm girl falls in love with a farmhand. He goes off, becomes a pirate. She gets married away to a prince she hates. It's a classic story. He comes back and she tries to win her back from the evil prince. But underneath all of that is just this genius comedy writing delivered by some of my favorite actors of all time. Carrie Elwes is just genius, man. He's such a funny comedy actor. What's the lead woman's name?
Never remember her name.
Robin Wright.
Yes, and she's gone on to she was in
It's Robin Wright. Yeah.
she was in the show with God damn it, this is a lot of us.
She was in Tom Hanks. She was in Forrest Gump.
Yeah, she was Jenny. Yeah, so so a lot of the actors in this movie are great. The guy who plays Inigo Montoya is a great actor. I don't know his name, but he's incredible.
Mandy Patinkin.
Yes, he is incredible. His Inigo Montoya is one of my favorite characters of all time.
I love Wallace Shawn. He's like the short,
Yeah.
like little Jewish guy. He might be Jewish. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. I don't
And
think
you
that
got
word.
Andre
means-
the Giant.
Yeah, Andre the Giant is sneaky one of the funniest people in this movie.
Yes.
The amount of times I've said where the whole exchange is stop rhyming now, I mean it. Anybody want a peanut? And it's just that cracks me up every time because it's them. It's a long shot of them like slowly drifting away
Right.
in this boat, and it's so funny.
Yeah, that movie succeeds because like it's called The Princess Bride, and so you immediately, at least when I was a kid, I was like, I don't want to watch this gooey girl movie.
Well, that's what the entrance is. It's Fred Savage as a little kid with Columbo coming to read him bedtime.
Yeah,
stories.
yeah. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, that's part of it's one of the funniest parts of the movie too.
But you learn real quick that the movie is not what it says that it
No.
is. It is like the layer. It's the onion of movies,
Yeah, it's
right?
great.
Where it's like there's this facade of it being this romantic drama, but then you get there's a fairy tale, but then underneath it's like when I was growing up, I thought this movie was made by the same people that made like Airplane.
Yeah, I did too.
Because it's got such like a tongue-in-cheek and self-awareness to it.
Right. The one-liners aren't as obvious, but they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
And the there's no like real inappropriate humor. There's some like there's some subtle like adult themes, like the old wizard couple or whatever that like lives at the very end or whatever. They've got some adult humor there. And the prince with like the mole that keeps jumping around on his face.
Oh my god, yeah.
But it's like that movie's just is genius because of how it subverts your expectations in terms of what The Princess Bride is.
Yeah,
as
it's very one thing that I need to have for a comedy movie is it has to be quotable, and this is one of the most quotable movies I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Inigo Montoya's entire speech, "You kill my father, prepare to die." I love the Carrie Elwes line at the end where I forget her name in the movie, but she's going to like stab herself to get away from the wedding, and he's laying in bed paralyzed, and he's like, "There's a shortage of perfect breasts in the world. Would be ashamed to waste yours." And it's such a cool and slick line. It's so funny, man. Oh my god. Where he's like, "Call the Brute Squad." He's like, "I am the Brute Squad." There's so many funny, just stupid little lines in this movie that really make it stand out, because it's not one-liners that are like in your face. They're not like set up punchline. It's just really clever conversational writing that it's just a bunch of funny people saying funny stuff. I mean,
and it ends up in your own like dialect. You end up saying things from movies all the time.
Yeah, I say marriage all the time.
And
holy cow.
Marriage is the reason we are gathered here today.
And saying something like that is enough to like trigger you to be like, when I get home, I am watching Princess Bride.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody could quote it and be like, "Oh, yes, I love that movie." That's like, to me, that's the sign of like, not only, but specifically a good comedy movie. And obviously, like, the romance is great too. Like the story of the Dread Pirate, I forget all the characters' names. The Dread Pirate Roberts and whoever the main female lead. It's a really cool, like, great love story. I think Peter Falk, is that his name? Columbo. Anyway,
Columbo is one of those things where it was on when I was a kid, but I never.
Anyway, the grandfather, when he's explaining the kiss at the end, he's like, it was like the greatest kiss that had ever been kissed, and he's like, you don't want to hear about this. It's kissing, and he's like, no, it's okay. And it's kind of like our own experience with like accepting love stories, and like, who was I talking about with this the other day? It's like, as I've gotten, I think it was on our Queen City the other day when I was talking about how I watch things because they're butch and manly, but as soon as there is a relationship, I start rooting for the relationships more than anything. Mm-hmm. So I root for love stories, and it's a cool realization as an adult male to have, because I just realized it recently, and that movie is a perfect like explanation of what that feeling, what that realization is.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing about Princess Bride is that I've never in my entire life met someone who disliked it.
Oh,
and I'm sure that there's people online or people. There's got to be. I mean, no one likes everything, so there's got to be some people out there that have criticisms of this movie. But to me, stem to stern, this is like a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I don't think that if there are any problems with the movie, they are nitpicks at best.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little long, but other than that, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess, but like, yeah, I can't see anybody just straight up disliking the movie. I think it moves at such a clip. It's so relatable and funny and like kind-hearted. There's like a kind-hearted spirit to it.
It's
like
wholesome.
It's very wholesome, and it might be one of the most wholesome live-action movies. That's not like a Disney animated property. Like
it's got a 97% and a 94%.
Yeah, I mean, it's universally well liked. And it's for everything me and Zach have been talking about. It's wholesome. All of the jokes land. There's not a joke that misses that I can think of.
As far as I know, it wasn't a huge box office success.
No, I don't think it was.
This is my last joke. The 3% that voted The Princess Bride down drive Corollas.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
That's the last one.
Yeah.
But they still made $14 million on it because the budget was $16 million and they made $31. So
yeah,
take that, nerds.
That's a lot of money back in the day too. So.
Yeah, and it may have made its money back in the box office, but it certainly has kind of like that cult feel to it, especially with the way I discovered it. I mean, I got it from VHS from when I was a kid, and then I would talk to my friends about it, and they had also seen it. And so for me, if somebody specifically in our age group, it feels like a cult classic because it's still surviving today. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So Zach, Let's get into your favorite rom-com.
So my favorite rom-com would, if I had to pick one, would be Kevin's, would be Princess Bride. I think Running Away, that's the best one.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, what it meant to me as a kid, what it means to me now, how impactful I think that movie is to a general audience. But if I had to pick one that was different, and it goes along with the theme of, I don't like rom-coms.
Really?
No, I don't like them. I think they're boring and usually predictable. But the ones that twist the formula are the ones that really engage me. And so, the Princess Bride, it's a love story. Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, there's the love story that bookends the movie, but in the middle, you get this like caper.
Yeah, it's a bed for a heist movie. You're absolutely right.
And so it's not necessarily when you say the word rom-com, I think of Crazy Stupid Love. You know that movie? Right? Where the trailer is Ryan Gosling showing his thing, and Emma Stone is like, how are you even real? I see that, and I'm like, no way in fucking hell I'm paying $15 to see that goddamn movie at a theater, because I know how it's going to end, and I don't care. So it's like...
And we've already seen Ryan Gosling's abs.
Right. And trust me, I pay $15 admission just to see Ryan Gosling's abs. I don't need to see any of the other movie. He shows up on screen, he stands there, he lifts up his shirt, done and done. I'm good. I go home.
Yeah.
I go home. I feel happy about myself. But rom-coms in general just never really grabbed me. So the ones that like twist the formula are the ones that I really, really like. So there's a lot of rom-com elements in movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and The Breakfast Club, and those kind of like stories about like young love and like John Hughes, like the John Hughes movies, and like there's a lot of 80s movies. And so the one that I picked is a stealth classic, one of my favorite 80s movies that nobody talks about enough these days is Better Off Dead with John Cusack from 1985. How many of you have seen it?
I know of it. I'm sure I've seen clips of it, but I don't know. If you ask me that,
I've
I
never
couldn't tell you
seen
anything
it.
about it.
Let me get a pick to.
Okay, so Better Off Dead if I explain to you the plot without like diving into the details, you would think it's the most traditional 80s romantic comedy. Dude down on his luck loves a girl that's way out of his league. She falls in love with the captain of the ski team, so he tries to get better at skiing and impress her by winning this competition against this other guy to win her heart. Right? That's the plot. But the movie takes such a drastic turn in the surrealism category, where it's like there's so much in this movie that's very self-aware. Like there's entire sequences with animated dancing cheeseburgers that like personify how weird John Cusack was at this time, and like his acting is really bizarre. He's very aloof. The principal, you'll get this. I don't know the actor's name, but the principal from New Girl, the guy with like the curly hair, he's his best friend in the show, and in the movie rather. And that guy in the movie is like a drug dealer that's like obsessed with like he has a creature in a jar at one point.
Curtis
Tommy?
Armstrong.
Yeah, Curtis Armstrong. He has like a creature in a jar at one point that he tries to hand off to a girl. It's a really, but like the movie sets itself up to be this like cut and dry romantic comedy about like a ski bum, right? Like the total. Oh, we gotta dance to save the rec home, that kind of like 80s plot.
Yeah.
But it turns out to be completely the opposite of what you expect. He falls in love with this other girl that's like that's like super duper cute, but she's also like more relatable. It's such a like, I don't know. It hits me at a really special place in my heart because of how it twists the romantic formula, where it's like this guy spends all of his life obsessing about this girl, but then he ends up finding someone that really connects with him emotionally, and that's like the cool twist of the movie. And it's an awesome 80s movie. It's underappreciated. It's overlooked. Not enough people talk about it. The soundtrack is fucking great. Like it's classic. John Cusack's character in the movie plays a saxophone, and at one point there's a part where he uses it to like woo this girl. It's so 80s. It's so awesome, and it's so funny too. Like the amount of random comedy moments, it's great. Like it reminds me a lot of like a Napoleon Dynamite, where it's just odd. It's odd. Where I think it knew that it didn't want to conform to other 80s movies at the time. And so Better Off Dead, check it out. It's an underappreciated classic of the 80s.
It's interesting you talk about like you like rom-coms that kind of flip the script a little bit, because a lot of the stuff I thought about picking at first was kind of fell in that vein. The one I really wanted to pick was Road Trip. And I was trying to think if that's really a rom-com or not, because it's if you've never seen Road Trip, it's fucking hilarious. But the concept of the movie is this guy, this guy and this girl, they go to separate colleges. He's trying to be faithful to her, and he ends up filming a sex tape with the girl on accident, and then accidentally sending that sex tape to his girlfriend at this other college. So he goes on a road trip with his buddies to kind of to intercept the tape before it gets to his girlfriend at this other college, and it's really, really funny, and there's a romantic element underneath it, but it's not truly a romance story. It's more of like a bro comedy. It was coming out at the same time where a lot of those bro comedies were coming out, and I was thinking about like Orange County too, but he just has a girlfriend in the movie. But I love Orange County.
Yeah.
Orange County's so good.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I like. Zach and Miri make a porno is kind of in that same thing where it's not necessarily guy falls for girl that he sees at a distance. It's these two are friends and they realize they're perfect for each other. And there's some just laugh out loud funny moments in that movie.
There's some wild scenes in that movie.
Absolutely wild scenes.
One comes to mind.
You talking about Die?
I'm talking about when the poop.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
The old diarrhea scene. It's disgusting, but it's hilarious. But if you haven't seen Zack and Miri make a porno, I think it got overlooked a little bit because
It's so funny.
There's like a Seth Rogen overload at that point, and I think that's probably his. Don't make fun of him too much because that's
Seth
the one
Rogen
celebrity I get compared to constantly. Is
Really?
Seth Rogen. Oh yeah. Like, yo,
I mean,
you,
I like
you
Seth
look and
Rogen.
sound like Seth Rogen. I'm like, great, thanks.
I watched Sausage Party last
I
night.
hate that movie. Sausage Party fucking sucks. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. I hate
Wow,
it. I
that's-
fucking hate that movie.
Wow.
It's so bad.
It's tough. It's a tough watch.
It's awful. But yeah, like I said, I think that's the best Seth Rogen movie that came out in that time. It's better than Knocked Up. It's better than all that other shit that came out. That
Ooh,
Zack and Miri.
I like the
Knocked Up's fine, but it's that to me is like because the cast around Zack and Miri in that movie is really good too.
I like Zack and Miri. It feels more of like an independent film.
Yeah,
too.
it's more.
They're like out in the snow. Like
It's more wholesome.
Yeah,
It's just not as ridiculous.
they're
as
not
like
out in
Knocked Up.
L.A. like in Knocked Up.
Right. So
I have
sorry.
to pee.
That's staying in.
Hey, Dale, how's your pee? How was your pee, dude?
It was great, bro. Thanks for asking, bro.
No
Burning sensation at all.
Oh, boy.
That went away.
Is that a symptom of coronavirus?
No.
Corolla. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Coronavirus.
that's what you said. Yeah.
So
What's your favorite rom-com?
my favorite rom-com, which is actually what started the prompt, was 10 Things I Hate About You. It's on Disney Plus. What's up?
Really?
Yeah, of all
It's a
places.
Disney movie?
No, but it's somehow on there. I think it's an FX property.
It's
Fox.
What we talked about is probably part of the merger of all those different
Right.
streaming services.
So somehow it made it to Disney Plus, and I was like just scrolling through movies, and I was like, I love this movie. So I watched it, and I typed out my thoughts, and I don't think I'll get into all
There's
of
a
them.
whole fucking page.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It was literally like
We've been waiting for this episode for 2 weeks.
Dill's got
so-
the Bible over there. Oh
crazy.
my
So
god.
the original prompt was going to be like, let's watch 10 Things I Hate About You, but I thought it would be more fun to just give it a more clever name, Red Wine Rom-Coms. Everybody can talk about their favorite rom-coms. But for me, 10 Things I Hate About You is everything that's great about rom-coms. I really like when they're set in high school.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it kind of takes you back to when love was a lot more simple, and it was just like, I like this girl, I'm going to be with her, and there's nothing that's going to stop me from being with this girl.
Except for
And-
being fat. Which was my problem.
Fat and unattractive.
That was my problem.
So there's many facets of why I like this movie. Mainly, there's a lot of storylines going on. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in the movie, and he does a stellar job. And I think one of my notes in here was about Julia Stiles, Heath Ledger, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, powerhouses. It's so obvious that these three are the best actors. The obvious runner-ups for Heath Ledger's Patrick Verona, Ashton Kutcher. Oh, so the people that were going to be Heath Ledger in the movie, I'm sorry. This is the first time I read it since I
so
typed this movie. The first time I watched it, I looked up. The people that were going to be Heath Ledger's character was going to be Ashton Kutcher. Can you imagine that?
Yeah,
Have you guys seen all this movie, by the
Yeah,
way?
yeah,
I've never seen
I've
10
seen
Things
it.
I Hate About You.
It's a great. You would like it. It's
You
good.
would love it.
Really?
Like it. I don't want to say love.
It's good.
Okay.
You would at least take it on a second date.
Okay.
Okay.
So Ashton Kutcher was going to be Heath Ledger's character, or Josh Hartnett.
I could see that.
But I think Heath Ledger adds something to the character that elevates it from being just like a normal rom-com.
Yeah, because he's the classic love interest in these movies that looks like he should be like a teacher.
Yeah,
So he's
right.
clearly the guy who's not a high schooler in real life.
Well,
So-
he was still young. I think he was 19.
Yeah, he doesn't look it though. He looks like he's well into his 20s in this movie.
Yeah.
Is this Heath Ledger's first movie?
It's the first I
think so.
remember him being in. I don't.
first
I'm
American-made
not
movie.
Familiar with his
I'll look.
cinematography is what I was looking for.
Because I remember when The Dark Knight was coming out, I remember that being on forums and being on Reddit and NeoGAF and that shit, where they were like, people were like, "Oh, they cast Heath Ledger as the Joker, the pretty boy from 10 Things I Hate About You." Like that was my connection to
I
10
wouldn't
Things
call
I
him
Hate
the
About
pretty
You.
boy in this movie, though.
He's not. He's more of like the kind of bad boy in this movie.
Well,
Yeah.
Sure, bad boy, whatever. Like
He's
the hot young
he's
kid.
a hot
right?
young boy in this movie.
Zach was really close. So there was 2 movies that came out in '99 that had Heath Ledger in it, and it was 2 Hands and 10 Things I Hate About You, and 2 Hands came out first.
Two hands.
I have no idea. I just looked at
No
it
idea.
and I was like, I don't
Never
know.
heard of this
So yeah,
movie.
that was his first movie.
He did A Knight's Tale too, right? He was
Yeah,
the knight
that
in
didn't come out until 2001.
Yeah. Man,
So-
what a movie, Knight's Tale, huh?
Yeah.
Actually underrated, I think.
I
I
like
actually think that
Knight's Tale.
movie is actually pretty entertaining. Like, it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but
Is that a rom-com?
I think it's just a romance.
There's like funny guys in it.
there's really no action, so I guess it's a comedy, a romantic comedy.
I would just call it a romance.
Sure.
So anyway,
got
if
some,
you,
do
I
you have
guess
some
if
card?
I can tell like someone that doesn't know
Yeah,
anything
tell
about
me,
the movie,
pitch the movie, Dylan, to me and make me want to watch it.
I'm going
Yes.
to read you the IMDb, the summary. It's very quick. A pretty popular teenager can't go out on a date until her ill-tempered older sister does.
I'm riveted.
So basically, Joseph Gordon-Levitt falls in love with this girl, and he pays Heath Ledger to go out with the older sister. So there you go.
For why?
Because Joseph Gordon-Levitt wants to go out with the sophomore, but her senior sister can't. Like,
So
she's
it's
not allowed to
it's
go
kind
on a
of like
date.
so they're each in love with the opposite person. Like they want to be in
Heath
love with
Ledger
a different
has no
person.
idea. He's getting paid $100 to take this girl out on a date, and it's like the mean girl that has no interest in boys, thinks all boys are dumb. And
Who's played by Julia Stiles?
Julia
Yeah, Julia
Stiles,
Stiles.
and she's a dime. She's a dime in this movie.
She's very attractive. She's a very attractive woman.
She is. So basically, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like, kind of he doesn't have money, but he kind of finds someone to pay Heath Ledger to take Julia Stiles out on a date. And so when they start
I'm not
dating,
clear of his goal. He's trying to get this guy to fall in love with this girl.
once the older sister goes out with a boy, then he's allowed to take the sister out on a date.
Oh,
So he's kind of trying
why
to finagle
are the
it.
parents like bitches?
Yeah, that's
dad
the,
is
that's
a-
the stipulation.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's actually part of my notes. The dad is a gynecologist,
Oh,
which is
no.
he's one of the more funny dads because he's like, you know what happens when you have unprotected sex, and he like gets a beeper and he's like, this is what happens. So he's like a really funny dad.
Okay.
Kat Stratford, who is Julia Stiles, Eagles Bay. She likes crappy rock bands, independent. She's independent, and her dance at the party, heart through arrow through the heart, and she thinks for herself. So she's like every woman that I find attractive, like independent, likes rock music.
Damn,
and-
dude. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she's exactly what I
Damn,
love.
dude, yeah.
Her little sister, I think Heath Ledger says it best. Like, I know everyone digs your sister, but I think she's without. I think you've got what I think is cool. I was like, hell yeah, dude. Everyone has a different opinion on what they like in women.
I think what makes this movie cool to me is that relationship, the Julia Stiles Heath Ledger relationship, because it's not really about them, but it is kind of like it should be about the younger two, but it really ends up being about those two kind of finding each other when they didn't really want to be with each other in the first place.
Yeah, they both weren't really convinced of each other.
Yeah,
She thought
and-
he was just some weirdo. He thought it was just like a challenge. Like, hey, I got to take this girl out on a date.
Right, and she's just not into it to begin with, but she ends up like I think it's just persistence through it all. It's good. I mean, they have a really good chemistry on screen. I think that's what sells it for me.
Can you tell me why it's called 10 Things I Hate About You?
The very last scene, they have to like write a poem, and her poem it kind of throws the movie off. Kind of what you guys were saying about Princess Bride. Like, the title doesn't really necessarily reflect the rest of the movie. It's not like, number one, this is what I hate about you.
That's what I was picturing. I was picturing like
it's not that at all.
like you hear like at the very beginning of the movie. It's like,
How to lose a guy
hi,
in
my
10
name's
days."
Lou, and here's the 10 things I hate about this girl. And it's like a bunch of squiggly arrows that point at this girl, and it's like, number one, she's kind of a bitch. And then it like goes through all the different things.
She
about
doesn't
why.
put out.
Yeah, right. Can you believe that, bruh? She doesn't put out.
I bought her dinner. Why is she putting out?
And then by
Oh
the
my
end of the
God.
movie, it's like, those are actually the 10 things I love about her. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
She's pure.
I also like the rumors they start about Patrick Verona. He set a state trooper on fire and did a year in San Quentin. Gangster. He sold his own liver on the black market for a set of new speakers. And he ate a live duck once. He ate everything but the beak and the feet. It's just like, it's so funny, the rumors that get spread about a guy because he's mysterious and he doesn't deny anything.
Right.
I'm going to go through all these until you guys stop me.
I'm not gonna stop you. Because
we
every
are only at 1 hour.
every
This
note
is
you
the
get,
We got a
last-
whole other hour of me reading these. Suckers.
every note you read makes me want to like just
him.
go ahead and start this. I have my Disney Plus signed on. I'm ready to go. Let's watch it.
The stadium that they filmed at was the coolest high school I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
They have like a little hill, and it like leads all the way down to like their football stadium. It's like on the top of a hill, and their school looks like a castle.
Well, there's like that bar scene too where they're like shooting pool and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like-
he's just in there smoking cigs and
Yeah, dude.
drinking beer. Pretty cool. Heath Ledger, good for you. Drinking at 17 at the bar.
Yeah.
I had to wait till I was 21. He also Heath Ledger gives some good advice to Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, who is Cameron in the movie. He says, "Don't let anyone ever make you feel like you don't deserve what you want." And it was, I mean, he was lecturing him, but at the same time, it makes you pause and go, "Damn it, I need to watch that again." Like, it's not something you would expect in one of these dumb movies. And I said it's got to be one of the best lines in any rom-com. Bianca and Kay's sisterhood is about as accurate as it gets because the older sister's kind of trying to protect the younger sister, but also trying to let her experience life. And Bianca has one of the worst prom dresses I've ever seen in the history of prom dresses. You
I
got
just
pulled
had
up?
it. Yeah, I had it pulled up. Here it is.
Oh yeah, show the gang.
It looks like a tutu or something, like a ballerina.
Like if you let a 2-year-old choose her prom dress.
Yeah.
I won't wear that one.
Yeah, it looks like a little girl who is wearing a shirt with like a little tutu to go out to the store. Probably has some like really weird colored spandex on underneath.
Bianca, are you ready to go to ballet?
I guarantee if you zoomed in, she'd have those little plastic butterfly clips neatfully placed in her hair.
Good old Joe Gordon looks real young.
Dude,
Real
real young.
young.
Looks like a
He's probably in
baby.
his teens.
Yeah.
You got some liquid underneath
I
that
know it.
computer.
I know.
Just letting you know.
I know. It's fine.
Okay.
It came from Joseph
so-
Gordon-Levitt.
So, Kat reading her poem at the very end. If you watch nothing else from this movie, Zach, the last poem at the end it'll make your heart quiver.
Okay.
And then that's it. I already talked about the high school. I already talked about the high school and how cool it was. So,
Man, that's-
10 Things I Hate About You. I was just so into the movie when I was watching it. And I don't even think I had that many beers in.
When was the last time you saw it?
It was probably about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
That's how I came up with the prompt.
Oh, right. That's right. You started about that. Sorry.
Because we were going to do dreams.
That's right.
Yeah, we were going to do dreams.
That
I thought
topic
that
will
was-
come back around at some
Yeah.
point, I'm sure.
And
But-
then something switched.
Yeah.
If we got a text message it was like a fever text message at 2 a.m. He's like,
I switched my
"Guys,
prompts."
We're changing the prompt. Red wine and rom-com.
As soon as I get to like the third prompt on my phone, I was like, all right, might as well go for it. So let's talk about some honorable mentions, eh?
I'm ready.
Let's do it, eh?
Let's go, Tom.
Honorable mentions.
Yep.
I watched He's Just Not That Into You for some backlog.
Yeah.
I like that. I like He's Not That Into You. That's kind of like how Zach was talking. Like it plays very well with the title. So it's kind of like one of those movies like Crash where like everybody links up at the end.
What a fucking depressing movie.
yeah,
that is.
dude.
Oh my god.
But it's what's his name? Justin Long's in it, and he's helping this girl that like can't find love. She just doesn't understand why like she gets to these points with guys that like are really positive and then they don't call her back. And he's like her life coach. He's like, dude, they're just not that into you. Like, here's like reasons why they're not that into you. And the movie literally will stop and have a black screen with like white text, like the reason why. And then they go and do these like fake interviews in New York.
Yeah.
And like, man, I hate when they don't call me back. Like, blah, blah, blah. So what ends up happening is Justin Long like mentors this girl about dating, and he ends up falling in love with her, which is really dope.
Oh, Justin Long.
Yeah.
Gotta love him.
And then watching all the other stories connect is really crazy too, because like there's a dude like cheating on his wife. It's ScarJo's in that movie. Have you not seen that?
I don't. I've seen it bits and pieces.
Yeah,
I love ScarJo though.
Yeah,
so.
dude, ScarJo, and that's really good too. I love ScarJo in that movie.
Dude, Carly and I just watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier last night, and the scene when they're trying to get away from the soldiers in the shopping mall, and one of the guys, the spies, is coming up the escalator, and they're coming down, and she turns to Chris Evans, and she goes, "Kiss me," and he goes, "What?" And she goes, "Public displays of affection make people uncomfortable," and then they like kiss, and it's the fucking hottest thing ever.
Hell yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, let's go, Chris Evans, ScarJo, let's go." Yeah, ScarJo can get it.
Are all those movies coming out, or is like what's happening
With what?
movies?
With what movie?
Quick sidebar. What, like, you know, with the Corollas being,
Oh,
you know,
the coronavirus.
yeah, the
affecting-
Corollas being passed out on the highway. Are
Yeah.
we able to go see movies, or what's happening with the
no.
ScarJo movie?
The movies are all delayed. The only one, the biggest one that they haven't talked about is Black Widow because they haven't, but it's Disney.
Just put it on Disney Plus.
So, well, they
Give
can't.
it to us, baby.
Yeah, I know.
They
I
gotta
wish.
make their money.
They gotta
I
make
know.
their money. They'll delay it. And it'll come
I
out
know.
later this year. This is gonna be a fucking crazy fall though for movies though.
Yeah.
because it's just gonna be everything that was delayed in the spring is getting pushed to the fall.
Oh, it's gonna be lit. God, what's some
Any
of my
more honorable mentions?
honorable mentions? I did have a couple other ones. I watched some Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I like The Notebook.
Yeah. I love the
That's not a
Notebook.
comedy though.
I
There's
laughed.
funny aspects to it.
Did you? Did you laugh when she couldn't remember anything and the guy had to
I
come?
guess that's not.
Don't act like you've seen it, Kevin.
I've definitely seen The Notebook. It's not. It's not a funny.
you laugh
Nicholas
when they
Sparks is
died?
not a comedy. You know that. You read Nicholas Sparks.
I laughed.
Okay, Hitch.
He wrote Nicholas Sparks.
This is a throwback to a conversation we had with Mike, and also a throwback to our Aladdin via Aladdin. Hitch. I forgot how good Will Smith was in that movie. I've been like shitting on Will Smith, but then I forgot that Hitch is like one of my favorite rom-coms of all time.
Will Smith.
Even
Is,
Mendes.
Hitch is one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah,
Will Smith is not a bad actor, even though I say he's whack.
yeah. He was really good in Hitch.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
But he also got to act with Kevin James.
Yeah, dude. And Kevin
So-
James stole that show.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yep,
Great.
that's one of mine.
27 Dresses.
Any Judd Apatow movie
Yeah,
ever.
any Judd Apatow movie.
I think 40-Year-Old Virgin is in many ways a very overrated comedy, but
Yeah.
in terms of the romantic comedy subgenre that it kind of slides into, basically, I think it actually tells a pretty poignant story.
yeah, that's
And it's because of Steve Carell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he carries the movie because everyone else sucks. Like I
way.
don't like many of the other actors.
What
in that
about
movie.
Seth Rogen in that
I don't
when he's
like.
got the
I
fake
think he's
sleeve
so
tattoos?
annoying in
I
that
like him.
movie.
yeah. The friends are kind of annoying.
Yeah,
in that
they're
movie.
annoying.
He does carry the
they're
movie.
annoying.
They're just kind of toxic,
Yeah.
masculine in that movie. which is-
Yeah, I mean,
Paul
I
Rudd's
get that.
funny.
That's the joke.
it's the
but
joke, but it's not. It's.
I don't want to watch
It's
that.
a bit
shit.
much. Yeah.
I don't want to.
I love when Paul Rudd's like, if I have to watch one more, what's his name? Michael Douglas DVD, I'm gonna Yamo burn this place to the ground or something like that. I don't know what he says.
I mean, there's some funny lines. I mean, it's a good. I like that movie. I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, it's-
I agree with you. We've talked about how we feel about like modern comedy, and this kind of like you're right. It's a good romantic comedy. It's not a great comedy. So
Like I don't like a lot of Judd Apatow movies because they do slide into there's no jokes, it's just ad lib, and I don't think that that's funny a lot of the times when you don't have a good tight comedy script.
Sure.
But yeah, that movie has some really great positives, including Steve Carell. That's one of my honorable mentions too.
One of my last honorable mentions is Sweet Home Alabama. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It's
is that Britney Spears?
No.
that's Home is Where the Heart Is.
No, it's Reese Witherspoon, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, my bad.
it's one of the things that me and Aaron quote to each other a lot.
Hey,
is,
Tommy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why you want to marry me anyway?
because I kiss you anytime I want.
Okay.
That's the thing that we say to each other all the time. It's so stupid.
That's
Why do you want to marry me? So I can kiss you anytime I want.
great. It's adorable.
I'm glad we shared that.
Yeah, me too.
So, Kev, you got any honorable mentions?
I wrote quite a list here. More just so to kind of help you guys along too. But I already mentioned Zach and Miri Make a Porno. Big classic Tom Hanks movie. Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. I don't know if you guys know that. It's actually really, really good. It's got what's the actress that plays Phoebe? I always forget her name. Lisa Kudrow. And it was the first thing I saw her outside of Friends, and she's really, really, really good in the movie. She's super funny.
I have seen that.
Yeah, it's good. It's. I wouldn't say it's underrated. I think it's appropriately rated. But it's if you're looking for another rom-com to watch, it's good. Something About Mary, classic. Classic kind of guy humor back in the day.
Oh, is that some gel? Let me use it.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller,
everybody quoted that movie for it felt like the entirety of time.
Yeah.
Meet the Parents is another classic one.
And that whole line of movies.
Right.
I love Meet the Fockers.
I haven't seen any of the other ones. But Meet the Parents is classic.
It's so cringe.
What, Meet the Parents?
Yeah.
Really?
It makes me so uncomfortable.
Again, you like The Office.
I know. I know. But I also skip episodes that I don't like. So.
That's fair. But I mean, you're right. It is cringe. That's the whole humor of the movie is just cringy moment after cringy
Ben
moment.
Stiller is so good at setting up cringe.
Yeah, and you know what stole that from me was De Niro. Like that was the first time I'd ever seen him in like a comedic role, and he has great comedic timing throughout that entire movie. It's really just him being like an inflated version of himself, which works well from a comedy standpoint.
Yeah.
Have Wedding Crashers, again, another super quotable movie. Vince Vaughn is great in that movie.
One of the only movies I like Vince Vaughn in. I'm typically not a huge bit. Or, I mean, Owen Wilson, too, kind of skirts that line for me. But
But even Will Ferrell's little appearance in it.
Mom, I'm making meatloaf.
What an idiot!
God, what is taking so long?
Yeah.
I never know what she's doing back there.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I mean, there's a lot of really funny stuff. Like Isla Fisher is, my God, top 5 for me. So
especially in that movie.
Yeah,
She's
dude.
a nutcase.
Yeah. Juno, classic kind of sad boy movie.
Dude, I was just talking about Juno today.
Juno's a great one. If you've never seen Juno, it's really, really good.
Very nostalgic movie for me. Like that movie feels like a place in time.
It's a certain coming of age movie for a lot of people in our grade age group. It was a little bit after me, but I still related to it because I had just come out of that stage in my life. So
right, and Michael Cera was like in every. You couldn't turn a
that launched both their careers actually.
Yeah. And
Whether
Jason
it was-
Bateman's in that, too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's the adoptive dad.
Yep. Last two I have are Bridesmaids, which was one of those ones that I didn't expect to be funny, but
Dude,
it is
it's
really, really,
so
really funny. It's one of the few things I can stand Melissa McCarthy in. I find her very unfunny, very hard to look at and listen to. But in that movie, she's her character is great. But she took that character and just blew it out, and just that was her character for the next 10 movies she made. So I hate when people do that. I mean, part of it's not her fault. That's the part she was getting. But it's just like, do something else. Be something other than the gross fat girl. But yeah, that was a good one. And then my last one is Shallow Hal. I have a special place in my heart for Jack Black, specifically as an actor. And I just really I don't really like Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't think she adds a whole lot to this movie, but Shallow Hal is a really good, like, wholesome message to it. And it's Jack Black, so he's got his physical humor, which is always good. But yeah, again, that's my extensive list. I was telling you guys off podcast, I was surprised when I was going through a list of how many rom-coms I actually truly, really like. So
Yeah.
it was a fun trip through movies I hadn't seen in years. Like, I haven't seen Shallow Hal in years. I haven't seen Zach and Miri or Romeo and Michelle certainly for years. So
I think that's what I was going to bring up a point where I was like, just going through these honorable mentions, I realized like how big of a fan I am of rom-coms. Honestly, it's just I don't even want to call it a guilty pleasure. I fucking like it.
Well, it kind of operates in that same vein as like just mindless action adventure movies. It's like something you could throw on for an hour and a half and not think about it, and it's entertaining.
And I don't feel bad after watching it.
Yeah, I watched Legally Blonde the other day, and I really like Legally Blonde.
Dude, Legally Blonde's dope.
Like, yeah, I mean,
You find yourself doing the bend and snap afterward?
I mean, it's just stuff like that. It's mindless. It's fun for an hour and a half. If you're waiting to go do something. One of my least favorite things in the world, guys, is if I have a plan that I haven't canceled yet miraculously, is waiting around to go to do those plans.
Yeah, it sucks.
Because I can't do anything. So like something like that is a perfect way to kind of, you get dressed, throw in a rom-com, go out.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
And then
put you
maybe
in a
find
cheery
some
mood.
love once you get out there.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Zach, you got any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I got a couple. Some of these might be contentious, so tell me whether or not you guys deem them as rom-coms, and I know that they're already like skirting the lines there. The first one is definitely on the list, which is Clueless.
Can I find
Oh,
like
yeah.
a boo like soundtrack? Like
Soundboard.
Yeah,
We should get a soundboard.
No, I don't want to be. I don't want to be a morning show.
Welcome to Dollar Beer Night.
Ira and the douche.
So Clueless is the first one that's on there.
Yeah, a great
that
one.
one's not not a great movie, but I kind of like the way that it twists the format a little
I
bit.
love that movie.
It's
It's trapped in time for me.
yeah, it's a movie.
I was
very
coming
much
of
its time.
age when that movie came out.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't hold up super well now, but there are elements of it that do hold up. Like it's shot like a 90s music video. So like the colors are like there's so many bright pinks and greens. It's like it's kind of hard to look at, but there's some really funny good writing in the movie, and it's got some wholesome bits to it, which I dig. Next one would be La La Land.
that's not a con. That's just so sad.
But there are a lot of comedic elements in the movie.
Yeah.
But
I'll give it to 'em.
again, it skirts the line. It's not necessarily a romantic comedy. I'd call it a musical because that's what it is.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's a musical. But again, it's my favorite romance movie. If I had to pick a romance movie, my favorite movie about love and what love means and like the best interpretations of filmic love, La La Land captures that to me. It's like,
Can I tell you something?
yeah, go ahead.
I didn't like La La Land.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
I think
you're stupid.
I've been carried.
That's okay.
I think your opinion's wrong.
You don't like jazz?
What do you mean you don't like jazz?
I watched
It's
a movie.
exciting. It's very, very exciting.
I finished. I had been listening to Radiovania, so I had this idea of what I was going to watch with La La Land.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that. You should probably did that the other way
I know.
around.
But I
'Cause
watched
John
it and I was
sucked
like,
the dick of that movie for a year.
and I was like, you got to be shitting me. That's it.
I'll
The
pay
movie
you,
was over.
I'll pay you $10 to watch
That
it.
was it.
I'll pay you $10 to watch it again with fresh eyes.
Yeah, I'd love to do it again.
Give it another
But
shot.
The first time I watched it, I was watching it with them, and I was like, you got to be shitting me. Fuck this movie.
Nope. I'll pay you $10. Legitimately, pay you $10 to just give it a second shot with fresh eyes.
All right.
But
I'll watch it for $10.
yeah, sure. I'll start a business. Hey, I'm paying people to watch movies.
I
over
like
here.
La La Land.
Great business.
No wonder I'm out of bed. Go ahead, Tommy. Were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I just wanted to say I wouldn't.
Oh, okay. The next one, again, skirts the line, is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That's a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's an action movie. It's this comic book movie. It's all the above. But the romance in that movie is so sweet and endearing. I just love it to death.
And Michael Cera's such a douche
That reminds me of Nora and Nick's
in that
playlist.
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, but I hate that girl from Nora.
Really?
Yeah, because she's in Two Broke Girls. She's the nastiest talking girl I've
No
ever heard.
shit. Is that Kat Dennings?
Yeah.
She's in Nick and Nora's.
Yeah, dude.
No way.
Yeah.
She's disgusting.
That just blew my mind,
I
dude.
hate her so much.
Yeah, I hate.
Christ.
I know. Well, I'm
Vitriol
very
for
angry.
Kat Dennings.
I love
I
Scott
hate.
Pilgrim.
I hate Two Broke Girls.
It's the worst thing that's ever been put out.
Two Broke Girls might be the worst television show ever made. But Kat Dennings, I always remembered really liking the girl in Nick and Nora's
Yeah.
Infinite Playlist. I had no
But she
idea that was
ruined
Kat
it.
Dennings.
Yeah, good luck.
Wow.
Did I ever tell you guys about my story with Two Broke Girls?
No.
So I was dating a girl.
You've told me this.
And she loved Two Broke Girls. Okay. And I was like, oh yeah, whatever you like. Which I didn't. I avoided the topic because that show was the worst thing I've ever seen. I didn't want to tell her that obviously. But I stayed over with her one night, and we woke up in the morning, and she turned it on, and we watched an episode, and I didn't even remotely laugh once. She's like, oh, I guess you didn't like it, huh? And I was like, no, it was fine. And then, not 2 days later, we never spoke again.
Oh, no.
It's a deal breaker.
It was an absolute deal. She shut me off from everything, dude.
Can you imagine loving Two Broke Girls so much you break it off with
I
a
wanna-
guy?
We had, and, it was a good, fine relationship. There wasn't we hadn't had a big fight or anything. We hadn't been dating that long, but blocked me on social media.
Yikes.
Dude, just out of the blue, to the point where I messaged her sister. I was like, hey,
Crazy.
what happened? I thought everything was fine. And she's like, yeah, she's just weird. I'm like, okay.
I want to hear her, like, I want to be a fly on the wall with that conversation with her girlfriends. Like, I fucking put on Two Broke Girls in the morning, and he didn't laugh one goddamn
Not even.
time. Can
I
you
didn't
believe
even
that?
I didn't see even.
And her friends are
close.
like, yeah, that's
Her
seems
friends are
okay.
like, okay.
Okay,
I
Karen.
think you need to dumb it down a little
It's
bit.
no King of Queens, but
Hey, King of Queens, not that bad.
King of Queens is fine.
Not
Yeah,
that
yeah.
bad. Jerry Stiller's in it, and that saves that show for me.
Yeah.
And then my last honorable mention. It's not a comedy. Again, sorry.
Hold on.
It's
let us get the boo or the
Yeah. It's not a romantic comedy, but it is a really it is a really great romance movie, and it's very sad. So I'd call it a romantic sad. It's called A Ghost Story.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, A24 put the movie out, like, I think it was 2 years ago. It got a very limited release. It's a very somber movie. It's about like an hour and 15 minutes long. Don't look up anything about the movie before you see it. Just go into it blind. It's a movie that I don't know if I'd ever rewatch because it's kind of like, it's very hard to watch. It's very sad and very surreal. But
Casey Affleck.
yeah, Casey Affleck is in it, and I can't remember the woman's lead's name, but yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Just well shot, beautifully edited. The music is great. The performances are great. It's an excellent movie. Don't watch anything. Don't watch a trailer. I would even say don't look at a screenshot. Just go and watch it if you're curious. It's a great film, and so that's my list.
a couple of the honorable mentions I have. Definitely Maybe with Ryan Reynolds. He's telling his daughter like the story of all the relationships he's had, and she wants to know how he met his mom. So it's kind of like How I Met Your Mother in a way, but it's told like in a kind of a cool way, and the daughter kind of encouraging him to go back for a lost love. I always thought it was a cool movie, and it's off Netflix now. So now you got to pay for it or go find it on DVD somewhere.
Definitely Maybe was a good one.
Definitely Maybe. And it's, I don't know, it's cool to see Ryan Reynolds in that way, where he's not just trying to like be super sarcastic the whole movie. He's actually playing like an earnest character. The last one I have for honorable mentions is 500 Days of Summer. It kind of toes the line of being a drama and a rom-com, but it's told in like a very honest way of what we were talking about earlier with like romantic comedies kind of flipping the script. This is one where the lead character, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, is not really someone you root for, or depending on perspective, you know, the girl Summer is kind of telling him like, hey, I don't want a relationship, and he's kind of trying to force a relationship on her, and then when they break up, he's kind of lost, and all his friends are like, well, you knew what she wanted. She told you her expectations. And so it's kind of one of those movies like when you have different expectations than someone else and you break up, it's not necessarily the other person's fault. So it was one of those movies like you watch it and you have one of those aha moments. But there's also funny people in it like Matthew Gray Gubler is super. He's a great best friend. You know, he's been dating the same girl since 7th grade, Tommy, and and you know, there's
subtle.
there's people in it that are super easy to relate to, and it's a great movie all around. If you haven't seen it,
Wow, you saying Ryan Reynolds jarred something in my memory. What about Van Wilder? Would you consider that a romantic comedy?
yeah.
Because that movie's awesome.
I love.
He
Van
ends up with
Wilder.
Tara Reid.
Who Tara Reid's shining moment, dude. She is an absolute dime. When she shows up at the party at the end, and that like, oh my!
Can we
God,
just go
dude.
back in time and like bottle her up and just be like, we need to keep you safe.
Yeah. No more drugs. No more drugs for you. That's it.
You're so hot right now. Don't do anything else.
But yeah, I love that movie. I saw Van Wilder hundreds of times when
Yeah.
it came out.
Yeah. You guys got any more thoughts about rom-coms?
Well, I didn't want to hijack your show, but I kind of wanted to see your thoughts like on a rom. I want to see what everyone's like rom-com show is, like what your favorite rom-com show is. Did you already have that in your notes?
How I Met Your Mother, I guess.
I think all shows inherently are rom-coms where it's like a relationship where will it, won't they? Yeah, all of the shows I like at least have kind of that basis in it. And sometimes they do things you don't expect.
I know I suck New Girl's dick a lot, but New Girl is like my favorite rom-com.
I don't like the way that New Girl treats some of its relationships, though. Like, I think that if you want to just put the blanket statement out, good romantic comedy show, yeah, I agree. But the way that it treats some of the relationships, like especially Schmidt's character, like the way that he goes through life with the dueling girlfriends and like his over masculinity, his sexism in some points. Like some of that stuff is kind of like, why are you going down this road?
Yeah.
But like the Nick and Jess relationship, I think if you just bottle that up, is really a solid relationship.
That's what I was about to get into. It's like,
but it's maddening.
like
it is
like,
frustrating.
It's
yeah,
Sam and Diane all over again. Like, are you fucking kidding me? They're breaking up because Jess is annoyed that Nick doesn't know how to handle his finances.
So stupid.
That's
Yeah,
not a
it's so
surprise.
stupid.
You've been living with him for 3 years.
I mean, that show suffered because of they wanted to elongate it. Like
Yeah.
that's one of those shows where it's like there are 2 seasons in the middle of that show that don't fucking matter because the studio just wanted to let it extend out and keep it going. It's like, why are these characters breaking up? It makes no sense.
That's what I was
in
about to
terms of
say.
where they are in their lives and their relationship. It's that kind of shit. I actually think that, well, I don't want to shit on your little extra
fine.
topic right away, but it's like I think TV romances are oftentimes terrible.
I agree.
Terribly done.
But I do have one that I love, and it's Futurama.
oh yeah,
Yeah, Futurama's great.
yes.
Futurama is the best romantic comedy ever written, in my opinion. If you want to categorize it there,
Yes.
because that show at its core, through all like weird 7 seasons, like season 5 was just a couple movies, so it was just weird. It kept getting canceled, but whatever. Throughout the entire length of that show, the bed of that show is Fry's relationship with Leela, and that's why that last episode is so perfect. I know I've talked about it on one of these podcasts before.
Oh yeah,
I think we've talked about it on 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's the perfect.
we love Futurama.
It's the best ending to any show I've
Yeah.
ever seen because they focus on Fry and Leela, and that's what that show was always about at its core. I mean, through all
First
the jokes,
episode.
through all how smart it was, from the very first episode
Yeah.
to the very last, it's
Yeah.
it's so smartly written, and that romance develops in such a cool way over the course of the seasons. It's not forced.
Right.
It develops organically. It's beautiful, man. It's a great show.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is like think about if these shows like weren't forced to like go for like so many seasons. Like New Girl, if you just like chopped it up and made it a rom-com movie, New Girl would be a really, really good movie.
Yo, yeah. Hell yeah.
Chopped up the good parts in New Girl. These like weird roommates form relationships with these like other.
Sure.
Like it'd be awesome.
make it a limited series, like 3 seasons. I
Yeah,
think we've
dude.
talked 4 seasons is perfect.
4 to 5 seasons is as long as a show should ever go.
Yeah, they should absolutely have a cap on how long shows can go on for.
Zach, you got a favorite rom-com romance?
I said the 2 that I would pick are hanging up right in the corner of the wall right there. Like the first one I said when Tommy mentioned that was How I Met Your Mother. But I think like the show has its ups and downs, but I think the show in terms of what it does for the 4 main 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 emotional main leads is excellently done generally.
Yeah.
And then Scrubs with what they were able to accomplish with not only JD and Elliot's relationship, but JD and Turk's relationship.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not romantic in the sexual way, but like the platonic relationship
Yeah, it's a
between
bromance.
JD and Turk is so perfect. It's so heartwarming to watch. Like it reminds me so much of me and my closest friends.
Yeah, and the best thing about JD is like him not worrying about masculinity at all.
Yeah, it's great.
He doesn't worry about sports. He doesn't, and that was in early 2000s where it's like, they had choice words for people like Zach Braff's character, and I love that he was like best friends with such a super masculine person, but he was able to bring out like the broness in him. For me, just because it's recency bias, I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the way they handled the relationship in Brooklyn Nine-Nine was just perfect. Have you watched?
I still need to get into it, man.
All right, well,
They
ear
need to
muffs real
put-
quick. The way they handle Jake's relationship was perfect.
Just end it.
Yeah,
Just
it was
stop
perfect.
it there.
It was just instead of like elongating something, they just like went straight to the point, and that's kind of Brooklyn Nine-Nine's MO is just kind of breaking molds of TV shows,
Sure.
and like dealing with things face on rather than like making it a future plot point. So,
It's another
Brooklyn
good
Nine-Nine.
rom-com.
yeah.
Love is Blind.
Oh fuck!
I feel like Mexico right now,
Dude,
chugging wine.
I love Love is Blind. It's great. It's great. I hope they do another one where they just do a bunch of ugly people.
Is that a quarantine show for me?
Yes.
Dude, it's so trashy. It's the trashiest of the trash.
Are we doing an episode
Start
on
it tonight.
Are we doing an episode?
I don't think so. I think it's not really
Yeah, it's
topical
already-
anymore.
it's
It's too far. We should have done it
But
already.
it's if you like again, I've said it 100 times. If you like trashy TV, this is as trashy as it gets.
Okay. I'm looking to laugh at something, and it's new. I've never seen it, so.
You'll cringe more than you'll laugh, but you're gonna hate watch it. You're gonna be like, I fucking hate this show, but I have to keep watching.
You have to know how it ends.
Yeah.
So last couple thoughts I have for rom-coms. So the whole reason I like rom-coms is because you know it's going to have a happy ending, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to know that the leads are going to end up together because it's like some self-reassurance things. Sometimes you watch some horror stuff, some drama stuff, and things don't always work out. And, you know, just kind of how, and especially like in the times we're living in, you need kind of a happy ending. So when I watched this, I was like, damn, I really needed this. Like, I watched No Strings Attached, which if No Strings Attached didn't happen, then, you know, Jake Johnson wouldn't have been on New Girl. And it was just one of those things like, damn, this movie isn't great, but Jake Johnson's in it. And, you know, if Jake Johnson wasn't in this movie, he wouldn't be on New Girl. So it was kind of one of those things like everything kind of happens for a reason, whether you want to, we can debate that all day, but it was, for me, it was like heartwarming. So thank you guys. Who's up next? Tom?
Tommy is technically next on the rotation.
Yeah, and I don't know. I was thinking that I was going to pass it to Alec to host our D&D, but do you want to make it a mini episode, or should I? I kind of wanted to give Alec this.
If we do a mini-sode, we don't have to shout it out. It'll just be thrown out.
We don't have to decide right away.
Yeah.
If your topic wants to be Alec hosts a D&D podcast, I think that sounds funny.
Yeah, like that's my topic is Alec.
Like, hi, this week I'm your host. Alec will be hosting this D&D podcast.
No, I'll do my thing. I'll do my intro and stuff, and then I'll be like, we got Alec here to do our D&D one-off, and then we'll go into our fucking we'll go around our thoughts on D&D, and then we'll fucking play our game, and then we'll talk about how we love the game, and then we'll be done.
Well, I think Alec had an interesting idea when I was talking to him about it when I saw him the other day.
Yeah.
I think what he wants to do is he wants to have like a normal like discussion about D&D.
Yeah, exactly.
Like about the history and like we can all do a
Because
little
I'm
bit.
fascinated by it.
Yeah, I love it. I've DM'd a one shot before.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a ton of like we all have differing levels of experience with it.
Yeah.
So I think he wants to do that, and then just like he wants us to record our entire session, and then just drop clips in that might be relevant, which I think is a really cool kind of way to like do an episode.
That's
a
what
little bit more editing for you,
Yeah,
Zach.
if should that be the case, and that's how we want to do it, I think that would be a really fun thing. But yeah, full transparency for the audience, that would take some time to edit, so that might not go live as our next episode. Like there might be a chance that we record something more discussion based and put that up as like an because I'd want to edit that and make it really cool. I would also like to be able to edit clips too. Like if we could put it on YouTube and our Twitch page and be able to have like little shots of our game board.
Well,
and
we
our
could
pieces and
also
stuff.
on YouTube just release the whole. We could release the whole gameplay session uncut. Too,
Sure, right. We could do that too.
Yeah.
which I think would be really fun.
Lots of discussing. We'll discuss this behind the scenes stuff. Just being forward with our audience.
Cool.
Yeah. That's all I got.
So look forward to possibly D&D or possibly something
Or
else.
maybe
cool.
maybe I'll pull something else out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We
Maybe
always-
I'll make you guys all play a weird video game or something.
Yeah.
I do have one more call out. Just my shameless anime plug of the week. If you want to watch a like romantic anime that I absolutely love, it's called Your Lie in April. It's a love story not only between two high school kids, but it's really a love story to classical music as well. So if you like classical music, did I unplug myself? No, okay.
No, you're good.
If you love classical music and you love kind of really good love stories, it's an amazing, really quick 13-episode watch. You could do it in a day. I cried multiple times watching it.
Did you watch Your Name?
No, but I really, really want to watch it. I've heard
I've
it's
been thinking
incredible.
about watching that on my break.
Yeah, I've
too.
heard it's incredible.
What's
so.
your Lie in April on?
It is on
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll,
Okay.
and I think it's still on Netflix as well.
Good.
If you need my Crunchyroll, I'll give you my account.
Well, I still have that. What's that thing called?
Verve?
It's Verve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Verb.
Is it Verve?
So Tommy, where can we find you on Instagram?
Average torso.
Or
It's a sing song.
or what's the other one?
Tough luck.
Tough luck. Tough
I
luck.
don't know.
Ho.
Ask Kevin where he can find me.
Okay.
He knows more about my life than I do. because I am too wine drunk for this. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Tough luck. Am I actually doing this?
No, you don't have to.
At Tough Luck on Instagram, toughluck.company for the actual website. They sell dope shit.
Oh, shit.
And for you?
At K Carter 79.
Can I plug your drawception?
Sure.
Since you, Sad Boy Draw's no good.
Sad Boy Draws no
I
good.
know about your life, too.
Fair enough. Tommy, yours is Average Torso.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
On Drawception. So, at K Carter 79. 79 is my football number, in case nobody was wondering, but that's why. So, I wasn't born in 79. That was just my number. In football,
Ooh, Kevin, do we have a phone set up yet?
No,
okay.
I kind of gave up.
Oh, that's fine.
Perfect.
So
That's fine.
But yeah, I don't even know where the SIM card is anymore. Anyway, to be honest,
They can text me.
Yeah.
And Zachary?
You can follow me at Zachratello on Twitter, at Zachratello on Instagram. You can go to twitch.tv/Zachratello where you can watch my gameplay when I do end up starting to stream, maybe tonight. We'll see what happens. And you can go to Dollar Beer Night, same thing on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dollar Beer Night. Other than that, yeah, that's me on social medias there.
And go to Young Diesel 16 on Instagram to see the goodest boy in all the land.
He's
real
adorable.
cute.
Guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you for episode 7.
We love you.
Bye.